afternoon, students. I'm Nadine Pinar. I'm your tutor for Numeracy and Mathematics 21. Welcome to this course. Diploma in Junior Primary Education and the Diploma in Pre-Primary Education, Numeracy and Mathematics 21. I am your tutor and I will mark your assignments for this subject. In this presentation, I will focus on general guidelines that I want everyone to keep in mind when doing an assignment. The assignment criteria. In your assignment, please attend to the following. Very important. Demonstrate that you have the ability to reflect, critically evaluate, and analyze your experiences in a pre-primary or junior primary classroom with regards to mathematics. Practical skills. Demonstrate that you have developed an understanding of numeracy and mathematics for pre-primary or junior primary learners. Knowledge and understanding. Demonstrate that you have an understanding and can link policies and practices with regards to numeracy and mathematics. Subject overview. What we will specifically look at in this assignment: measurement, lesson planning, spatial awareness, visual discrimination, form constancy, stages of cognitive development, word problems, and calculating time. Let's start off with measurement. Measurement in time. What activities can I give to my learners to develop an understanding of the concept of time? In a pre-primary or junior primary classroom, I should have my weekly calendar where I have the days of the week on my board or against my wall, posters. I can even have pictures of what we specifically do on specific days. Like for instance, on Mondays, mother likes to do the washing. On Sundays, we go to church. On Saturdays, we play soccer, so that the learners can have a concept of specific days. Another activity is to have a calendar on your wall of the days of the months of the year. And here, I can have birthdays of my learners, so that the learners have a concept of how long a month is and how long a year is, how long holidays are, and when they come to school. Even the concept of day and night. Pictures of what they do during the daytime, pictures of what they do during nighttime. This is all to have the concept of time. Another concept of measurement is maths. How can I explain maths to my learners? Here, practical. Everything is practical in our junior primary and pre-primary classes. I will ask learners to pick up their pencils, for instance, and to pick up their desks. And here the learners have to distinguish what is light and what is heavy. Pick up their own desk, pick up the table, the teacher's table. Which one is heavy, which one is light between those two objects. So they will practically pick up objects, their crayons, their books, and here they experience heavy and light. Another concept is length. Again, practical. You can have your ruler, the child can have the pencil, and the child now practically demonstrate which of these two objects are the longest or which one is shorter than the other object. Everything practical. The two learners, the two friends can stand up, and they have now to compare their own lengths and see which one is shorter and which one is taller. Everything practical. When it comes to the measurement of capacity, capacity has to do with liquid, or I can even use sand. Here I can have a glass and maybe a 2-liter cool drink bottle. So the learner has to now tell me which of these two objects will have more capacity, the glass or the cool drink bottle. So now I take the glass and I fill the glass with water, and the learner has to see how many glasses of water can fill the 2-liter bottle. Or 3 glasses of the same size, one I keep empty, one I fill half with water, and the other one I fill with water. So they have to say which of these glasses are, which one will be empty, which one is half full, and which one is full. That is how I do the activities of measurement. When it comes to lesson planning, here what is important is my theme. Now there's a difference between the theme and the topic. If I take an example, I might have the theme my community or transport. My topic regarding that theme can be measurement of mass. So the theme is now my community, transport, and my topic is measurement, mass. What is my lesson objective? Here, I as a teacher have in my head what I want to achieve at the end of my lesson. So the lesson objective should always include that at the end of my lesson, the learners must be able to do something. They must be able to either explain, identify, classify, name. All these verbs that I'm using should be measurable verbs. I cannot say learners should be able to understand, because I cannot measure understand. But if I say learners should be able to name, learners should be able to explain, learners should be able to describe something, that is what I want to achieve at the end of my lesson. That is my lesson objective. Learners should be able to do something, like I said, measurable verbs. Basic competency. What is my basic competency? Here, for instance, if I have mass as a topic, I can have learners should be able to identify objects as light or heavy. Learners should be able to identify objects as light or heavy, my basic competency. During my lesson plan, I will also have direct instructions. Here, as a teacher, I write exactly what I am going to instruct the learners. For instance, I will ask them to group in groups of 5, or I will ask them to work in pairs, and I write it down what I am going to instruct the learners. I am going to instruct them to work in pairs, and I am going to give them the pencil and the desk to pick up the direct instruction from the teacher to the learner. Closure. When I come near to the end of my lesson planning, what am I going to do when under the topic closure? Here, I will repeat what we have done during the lesson, or I will recap, or I will ask questions. That is how I do closure. When it comes to teaching materials, I write down everything I as a teacher will use during that specific lesson. When it comes to maths, I already said we use the pencil, we use the teacher's desk, We use the learner's desk, the chalkboard, posters, because like I said, the theme will be my community transport. So here I will have posters of maybe a bicycle and a train, and the learner has to identify which of these transport objects are heavier or heavy and which one is light. So my worksheets I also write as a teaching material. When it comes to assessment, for assessment I write either I will have a questionnaire or a task or a topic task, because here I want to see whether I have achieved my lesson objective for this specific lesson. So I write topic task, questionnaire, test, whatever I have in mind for that specific lesson. How am I going to assess these learners to see whether I have obtained my objective? Spatial awareness. What is spatial awareness? Here we have to define the concept spatial awareness. Now, spatial awareness is the ability of me to be aware of the space I am in and be aware of where I am regarding other objects. Where I am and where is my desk, where is my pencil, where is my bag. So this is all have to do with spatial awareness. The concept is to be able to be aware of the space around me and me regarding different objects. What are the characteristics of poor spatial awareness? How will I identify that a specific learner has poor spatial awareness? As a teacher, I should be aware of the different learners in my class. So when I observe that a learner appears clumsy, he always bumps into objects or he always falls, I should be alert that this learner might have poor spatial awareness. If a learner has poor presentation skills, he cannot carry over what you have taught him. He has poor presentation skills. That is also a characteristic of poor spatial awareness. If a learner have difficulty to structure written work, for instance, the learner starts writing in the middle of the page, or the learner skips some lines, or the learner skips pages, that is also a characteristic of poor spatial awareness. If the learner has difficulty during PE periods, the learner cannot jump over a rope or cannot go under a chair, this is also a characteristic of poor spatial awareness. Now, what are the activities that I can do to help the learner with poor spatial awareness? Activities includes action songs. Here I can have action songs like head, shoulder, knees and toes, so that the learner becomes aware of his own body parts. Another example of an action song is maybe Father Abraham, where they have left arm, right arm, left foot, so that the learner can be aware of the learner's specific body parts. Another activity can be, there's a fire on the mountain, because now the child has to run, stop, so that the child is aware of what actions he should do. This is how I help my child with poor spatial awareness. Also, in my class I can draw a line, or outside I can draw a line, and then I can ask the child to walk on the line. If the child is not able to walk straight on the line, I know this child have poor spatial awareness, And this is how I can help this child. What is visual discrimination? Now, I have to know the different characteristics of different objects. I have to be able to identify an object according to its color, the shape, whether it is rectangular, triangular, circle. That is what my learner needs to do, be able to identify. Learner also needs to be able to know direction. Where is my book? On the table, under the table, on top of the cupboard. Direction. Go left, go right. The sizes of objects, whether it is big, whether it is small. The quantity, who has the most marbles between the two of you. You give some marbles to the learners, and the learners now have to compare which of these marbles are the most, which of these learners have more marbles than the other. Distance, the distance from the teacher's table, which learner is sitting near to the teacher's table, which one is sitting far from the teacher's table. These are all the characteristics that has to do with visual discrimination. Form constancy. What is form constancy? The definition of form constancy. Form constancy is the ability that we understand that the shape or an object stays the same even if it's in a different environment. The ability for us to understand that the shape or an object is the same even if it is in a different environment. Example, for instance, a circle. The circle in class that the teacher has drawn on the board is a circle that maybe a road sign that is circular. It's also a circle. The plate that he eats out at his house is also a circle. So whether it's in a different environment, the shape stays the same. Activities to develop form constancies in learners that experience difficulty with visual perceptual development. Here I can have, for instance, a worksheet with different shapes, and I ask the learners now to color all the triangles in this worksheet. So the learners only identify the triangles and only colors the triangles from the worksheet. Another example of a worksheet that I can give the learner to help them with that has difficulty with form constancy. For example, here I have different shapes. So now I will ask the learners to color the blocks that have triangles, yellow maybe, circles, blue, squares, red. So they color only as the teacher has instructed them to do. Here now I will help them to develop form constancy. What are the stages of cognitive development according to Piaget? The first stage is a sensory motor stage, that is from birth to 2 years. The second stage is a pre-operational stage, the ages between 2 and 7 years. The third stage is a concrete operational stage from the age of 7 up to 11 years. And the fourth and last stage, according to Piaget, is the formal operational stage from the ages from 11 and up. Those are the 4 stages of cognitive development. when it comes to word problems, first I have to read. Here I have to read with understanding. Mr. Newman bought a shirt for $120, a pair of shoes for $350, and a pence for $200. My first question here is, how much did he pay? So, what is asked from me and what information do I have? The information that I have is he bought 3 different items for 3 different prices. So my first operation will be, I now add up the different amounts. $120, the $350, plus the $200. I add this up, 0, 7, 5, 6. So how much did he pay? The first question is answered. He pays 600, or he paid $670. The next question, number 2. Number 2 says, if he paid with 4 200 notes, how much change did he get? So I already know that the cost of these items altogether is $670. Now, the next question says, if he paid with 4 $200 notes, how much change did I get? What am I supposed to do here now? First of all, 4 times 200 gives me $800. So he gave an $800. So the same question goes, how much change did he get? So I have my $800 minus my $670, and I calculate how much change he got after he bought the items. He paid with $800, and his change is $130. That is how I go about answering word problems. Calculating time. How do I calculate time? I have here 2 hours, 25 minutes plus 55 minutes. Calculating time. First, I separate my terms. I have 2 hours here plus here I have 25 minutes plus 55 minutes. Right. 2 hours plus 25 plus 55 gives me 80 minutes. What do I observe here? 80 minutes is more than an hour, because I know 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So now I subtract my 60 minutes, which means another hour. I have 20 minutes left. That 60 minutes is another hour. So now I will have 3 hours and 20 minutes. Another calculation of time. 5 days, 12 hours. 5 days, 12 hours minus 3 days, 18 hours. Alright. I separate my terms like I said. 5 days minus 3 days. Here I have 12 hours minus 18 hours. I have separated my terms. 5 days minus 3 days will give me 2 days. What do I realize there? That 12 hours is less than 18 hours. So we know that we usually go borrow when we do subtraction. So what do we borrow and where do we borrow from? We borrow from the 2 days. Now there's only 1 day left. The 1 day that I have borrowed means it's 24 hours. Now plus the 12 hours minus my 18 hours. 24 plus 12 gives me 36 hours minus 18 hours. Meaning 1 day, 36 minus 18 is 18 hours. So 5 days, 12 hours minus 3 days, 18 hours gives me 1 day and 18 hours. Thank you. Right. What you should do in this assignment? First, read the questions carefully so that you can see what is expected from you. Answer all your questions. Please make use of practical examples when necessary. Provide sufficient answers. Don't write too little or too much. You have to check the marks allocated to determine the length of your answer. You cannot give one word answer if the mark allocation says, for instance, 5 marks. You need to check the mark allocation. Write as neatly as possible. Preferably type the assignment if you can. Do not copy and paste from the study material. Your assignment cover page should incomplete information may cause your assignment paper to be marked by a wrong tutor, which will cause you marks. Write your student number clearly and correctly. Write your surname and name on the space or the column provided. Note, the subject code must be correct, for example, DJP, NM21, as well as subject name, numeracy and mathematics 1. Fill in all other requirement information to make sure that the cover page is correctly completed. Just a few common errors that's made by students regarding assignments. Writing wrong subject code on the cover page. Providing a wrong student number even. Papers not stapled tight, so some papers might get lost. Copying from each other. Writing answers without using your own words as much as possible. We get students just rewrite the study guide. We don't want that. We need to see whether you have understand what you have read from the study guide. And remember, there is no substitute for hard work. I wish you well.